Hey, talk about chapter 6, DEI. You say not that one, but talk about DEI.
Well, it kind of goes to what you were just talking about, with the younger generation, man. And it's not even just the younger generation. I think social media has just created, this delusion, this entitlement, and this idiocracy. That's what I call DEI: delusion, entitlement, and idiocracy. So you have all these delusional people running around, living lives that that's not even theirs, portraying images that's not even there, walking around with the mask on. Um, the entitlement comes from the people watching the delusional people, because when you watch the delusional people and you watch these people that are pretending, like the people that are pretending to go on these lavish trips, or the kids that are pretending to be on private jets, or the kids pretending to be in these, fancy cars and having all of this money, now a sense of entitlement comes into you because you feel like, well, if they got it, I should have it. And then the idiocracy of it all is that everybody's stupid. like
Yeah.
everybody's dumb for believing this. So that's the era that I feel like we're in. We're in this era of delusion, entitlement, and idiocracy. And I honestly, it scares me because I don't know where it ends, Dr. Phil. I really don't.
Well, how do we get people out of the victim mentality? I guess that's the thing that bothers me the most. It's not just one group. There's a new victim class. It seems like every single day somebody has found a way to put on the victim hat and ask the world to take care of them.
Well, you won't get them out of that mentality because, that mentality can be monetized now. So, like you got to think that's just really some people's thing. Like some people get online every day and they look for problems, or they look for things to be offended by. Like you have to go out of your way a lot of times to go on social media and basically, trauma scavenger hunt. You're literally looking for something to be offended about, because once you take that thing and amplify it on your platform, you're going to get the engagement that you want that day. You're going to get the attention that you want that day. You might be monetizing some of these platforms, so you're going to get a couple of dollars from it, for that day. So I don't think that you'll ever get them out of it on social media. I think in the real world, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and that's going out there and like really pouring into people in a real way. Like I go out there and I talk to people in my community. I do philanthropy. I do things like donate scholarship. I got a scholarship fund at my mother's alma mater, South Carolina State University. Called the Ford Family, Scholarship Fund, and I donated $250,000 to South Carolina State University for people who were either majoring in English, because my mother was an English teacher. So if you're majoring English, you qualify for it. If you major in something in the mental health space, you qualify for it. And if you major in communications, you qualify for it, because I'm a media personality. And so for me, it's just like, I would rather provide opportunities to people so they can't play the victim card. When people have opportunities that are presented to them and they are willing to take advantage of those opportunities, then you can't play the victim card. I don't think so anyway.
I have a problem with people that talk about equality of outcome. I don't have a problem with talking about trying to get equality of opportunity. We don't have equality of opportunity in this country, but it should be number one on our to-do list. But this equality of outcome, to me, is a scary concept. If you got some guy at home in a beanbag eating Cheetos all day, and he's going to get the same outcome as some guy that's out there working 14 hours a day, busting his ass, and they're going to have the same outcome, I got a problem with that.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that you should get back in life, what you put into it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like, in this country, yes, we all know that there's a lot of systemic obstacles, that different communities face. And, every day we should fight, to remove those obstacles and tear down a lot of those obstacles. But I still think for the most part, you get back what you put in, in this society.
Yeah, the hill's steeper to climb for some than others, and we need to do what we can to flatten that out and get it the same for everybody. But if I got a hill to climb, I'd rather climb it in America than somewhere else. I can tell you that for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's why, when it comes to a lot of these elected officials, Man, I laugh sometimes because it's really not that difficult, right? Like the reality is all humans want, every single human on this planet, but I'm only gonna speak for America right now. Every single human in America wants two things: financial security and safety.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. I want some upward mobility and I want to feel safe. And I know that there's somebody out there listening to me saying, well, what about education? What about healthcare? All of that falls under financial security.
Of course it
You
does.
know what I'm saying? All of it. If I got a couple of dollars, I can afford my healthcare. I can afford to go to school. I can afford to have some food on the table, a roof over my head. People want upward mobility, financial security, and they want to feel safe. That's it. Secure. I want to feel safe. I want my kids to feel safe, my grandkids to feel safe. If you can, provide people with that, then they're gonna support you and vote you in every single second of the day.
Yeah. How come they can't figure that out and focus on those things instead of the stuff that they keep peddling? Because they're trying to buy votes. They don't have to buy votes if they just deliver the things that people care about.
Simple. It's really that simple, and they complicate things, man. Like it's financial security and upward mobility. Anything that anybody that provides that, you'll have people like what President Biden is doing with the student loan debt. That is providing financial relief for people. What Donald Trump did when he was in office, during COVID, even though it took a pandemic to do that, the stimulus checks, the PPP loans, people remember that to this day. Because you know why, Dr. Phil? Because people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And at a time when everybody's back was against the wall and people were doing, really bad economically and people were losing their jobs and couldn't even go to work, they'll never forget getting that check in the mail with his name on it.
Yep, that's
And
right.
it's sad that millions of people had to die, to get that check, but they'll never forget that. So that just shows you what people really need: financial security and safety. That's it.
Yeah, and safety is something that a lot of people are asleep at the switch about. I just did a show that said we get 97% of our antibiotics from China.
Damn.
97% of our antibiotics come from China. Now, what if
97?
97. Now, what happens if they decide, nah, not going to ship them over there? We'd be in a hell of a mess. Our enemy is providing 97% of our antibiotics.
What if they decide not only, we're not going to ship it over there, what if they decide to engage in some type of chemical warfare?
Exactly. And then we don't have anything to fight it with, and we don't have a stockpile, and we don't have the infrastructure to fight back. And it is hard. I get it's a tough problem. It's hard to fight back when they were paying 47 cents an hour in their factories. We can't do that. It's hard to fight that. That's what I mean when I say that's been going on for at least 20 years. We don't really have problem solvers trying to solve these problems, or I think we'd have figured out an alternative.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, maybe you and I should take it over.
I like focusing on what I can actually change. Like I believe in the serenity prayer where it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I know where I can actually enact change. I know I can enact change in my, community in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, or in Charleston, South Carolina. I know I can enact change, in Jersey or New York by doing different initiatives, whether it's partnering with the food bank in Harlem, which I do. Because it's simple, like I said, it's simple things. Like, man, when you go, and by the way, Dr. But there's people already doing all of this work. So all it takes is somebody like me or you to come in and help amplify the work that people are already doing. Like I have a nonprofit called the Mental Wealth Alliance, and we're trying to provide, 10 million, Black and brown people therapy over the next 5 years for free, right? But I'm partnered with people who already do the work, like Dr. Alfie Breland Noble. So I'm just helping to amplify what they're already doing, or the food bank in Harlem. They're already there providing free meals for people. They're already there providing groceries for people. So I'm just there to amplify, the work that they're already doing. I was just in South Carolina, with former Mayor Tecklenburg, and I was down at the shelter, and I was just seeing what they're doing with the homeless there. And I'm going to be sponsoring breakfast for them for a year. And when he told me the number that it cost to do that, it actually pissed me off because I'm like, this is nothing for the local government to cover.
Yeah.
Nothing. So why, like literally nothing. So why aren't they doing it?
It's amazing. When you work with some of these food banks, they can get 8 meals out of $1. It's astounding because they have a lot of in kind. They get day old bread. They get stuff that's just perfectly good. We eat day old bread at home every day, 3 day, 4 day old bread at home. It's not like it's a bad thing, but that's what you and I can do. People ask me all the time, am I ever going to get into politics? My answer is not just no, it's hell no. I can do a lot more and have a bigger impact from the outside in than the inside out.
I 100% agree. And I mean, I think I have a lot of politicians. I have a lot of politicians that I associate with, and I'd rather just sit around and have these conversations with them and, connect them with the real people who have their feet on the ground, so they can hear from these individuals, so they can know, the things that they should be doing while they're in office. And you got some good ones around the country doing some really great things. I like what Governor Wes Moore, just did in Maryland. By pardoning everybody who has the misdemeanor marijuana offenses. I like, what, Governor Josh Shapiro is doing in Pennsylvania in regards to, criminal justice reform and probation reform. So you got some people around the country that's doing some really good things.
Yeah, we really do. And we need to be sure and call those people out and let people know that they're doing a good job and support them when they do.
That's right.
You and I should talk more often. We don't talk enough. We do it every once in a while, but we need to talk more often than we do.
Man, I would love that, Dr. Phil. I absolutely would. I always appreciate the conversation. Certain people you have conversations with, they make you feel sane, and you're one, and you're one of them.
Well, I feel the same way.